Aloha, everybody. Welcome to the Mind of Marlin here at the Sweet Spot on the Big Island. I'm up in a tree deck here. This morning I want to show you a papaya that I grew. Very happy about that. Today's essay is on the fake president's fake news. Unless your head is buried in the sand or your internet is down or you don't have any friends, you would have heard about fake news. We live in a world that there's so many things that are fake. We have fake eyelashes, fake jewelry, fake breasts, fake meat, fake milk, fake brands, also known as knockoffs, fake art, fake money, known as counterfeit, and now there's fake news. We also have a fake president. A president is a leader. This man has no moral compass, so he is lost. Don't give me that all who wander are not lost crap, because people who are lost can't lead. People ask, why did Moses have to wander in the desert for 40 years before making his way to the promised land? It's only 263 miles from Cairo to Jerusalem. I figured this out. By walking 8 hours a day at a pace of 3 miles an hour, 6 days a week, got to take the day off for the Sabbath, in 40 years they could have walked 300,000 miles, which is 12 times around the globe. It was called the Promised Land because Moses kept telling people, after 20 years, I promise there's land. The reason Moses took 40 years was so that all the slaves would die first. They were never to make it to the Promised Land because they had too much emotional baggage. It was one of the first examples of the bait and switch. Moses only wanted people who were born free to enter the land of milk and honey. It may take 40 years of Republicans wandering in their moral and ethical desert to die off with their slavish mentality because they will never adopt another mindset. They are lost and cannot be saved, so stop trying. They live in an America that isn't great to them. The Roman Church took 350 years to recant their position on Galileo's heliocentric worldview. Pardon my blaspheme, but Jesus on a stick. How can any thinking so pig-headed last so long? Why would anybody believe anything from the church after that ridiculous backpedaling fiasco? But I tangent. It has now been corroborated by multiple intelligence agencies that the Russians were working with Trump to win the White House. This piece, by the way, was written in 2017, and now the Senate has just confirmed what the intelligence agencies were saying. Hillary Clinton won nearly 3 million more votes than Trump, which makes his win a fake and only stands under the outdated electoral procedure. Trump tweeted November 6, 2012, quote, "The Electoral College is a disaster for a democracy." So here, I agree with this man. It is truly a disaster for a democracy. Trump's fake presidency isn't going to make America great again. America was great before he took office, before Obama took office, before Reagan took office. What makes America great is that it is a melting pot of cultures, ideas, religions, and people who live under a rule of law and not under a rule of ideology. But this is something that's hard for hardline Republicans and ever-Trumpers. They do not understand. They think what makes America great is the power to bully others into doing what they want. The Pharaoh Thutmose II was no doubt telling Egyptians, I want to make Egypt great again. And Moses, before you leave with all those illegal immigrants who have been working at slave wages, can you build me some more pointy-topped monuments? A real president has to have people following him. A real president is a leader at last count, and still there were more than a majority of Americans who were not going to follow him. And it appears more are switching camp every day, watching this fake president rule, not lead. Do you see people migrating over to the Trump camp? Do you hear about people who voted for Clinton, Johnson, or Stein? Remember Johnson and Stein? Do you hear any of these people saying, I like what Trump's doing, I'm going to follow him now? Does this fake president, who is at war with the intelligence community, really at war with intelligence itself? So it would seem. This is a fake president who is saying fake things like millions of unregistered voters exist, incidents in Sweden exist, celebrating Muslims over 9/11 exist, larger crowds exist, it will disappear in a few months. His number of falsehoods are so frequent, he's averaging 4 every day. So it is no surprise that he thinks the media is creating fake news because they're reporting what he says, which is all fake. Now, mind you, this was written 3 years ago. He has now been recorded by the fact checkers that he's lied over 16,000 times. Let us all pay tribute to the great H.L. Mencken, the newspaper man who wrote on July 26, 1920, for the Baltimore Evening Sun. Quote, the larger the mob, the harder the test. In small areas before small electorates, a first-rate man occasionally fights his way through, carrying even the mob with him by the force of his personality. But when the field is nationwide, and the first must be waged chiefly at a second and third hand, and the force of personality cannot so readily make itself felt, then all the odds are on the man who is intrinsically the most devious and mediocre. The man who can most easily adeptly disperse the notion that his mind is a virtual vacuum. The presidency tends year by year to go to such men. As democracy is perfected, the office represents more and more closely the inner soul of the people. We move towards lofty ideal. On some great and glorious day, the plain folks of the land will reach their heart's desire at last, and the White House will be adorned by a downright moron. End quote. To be fair, our fake president is a real misogynist, a real bully, a real con artist, a real estate speculator, a real snake oil salesman, but not a real president. If anything, he is unreal, which makes him a genuine fake. Thanks for listening, everybody. We'll see you in a couple of days. Stay safe. Wash everything, just in case. Love each other. That's all we got. Aloha.